Eclipse, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs. Welcome to your work, career, vocation read for August and September 2021. I'm your reader, Angelo Lyons, Mal for short, professional witch, professional intuitive, president of Drawing the Circle production since 1998, author of Words of Grace from a Professional Witch, now available on Kindle. Links in the description box. If you haven't caught it yet, go preview it for free. Yeah, the Archangel of Lyons, Angelo Lyons, but you can call me Mal. Hey, my fixed air signs, hope you are well. Work, career, vocation, reading time. Very, very glad to be doing it. If you are new to the channel, I've been doing, it's called the 3-Level of Power Read. There's a link in the description box by Myss. This is our archetype deck, explaining what the 3 levels of power are, and archetypal structures through which you can look at many things in your life, breaking it into 3 levels. In this case, life, purpose, work, career, vocation. 12 cards in the spread. I've been doing these readings for my own company, my own personal life path, as well as for clients for decades and decades and decades. So very, very helpful about the fulfillment, right? Is it about making money? Sure. Is it all about making money? No. It's about bringing yourself into alignment to do what you came in to do in this life and to feel and experience the fulfillment of it. Otherwise, you know, punching a time clock is wonderful if that's your gig, but usually there's more to it than that gives us the fulfillment in life, right? So let's get up in this gig. All the decks that I read are always in the bottom of the description box, right? Along with some other links, including a video by Myss explaining the 3 levels of power. I think it's like part 1 of 3. It's all on YouTube. And if you'd like to book a reading with me for this kind of read or a true love read or anything like that, I made a video called Booking a Reading with Mal, not just how to do it, but what goes on before, during, and after. I guess that's about it. I don't feel like explaining anymore, except both feet on the floor if you can. Focus on your breath if you will. I will do the same to get you the clarity, guidance, and grace that I can from them, through me, through these to you, through YouTube to you, that you need in your work, career, vocation. There are chakras involved. Whatever flies out of my mouth is what they want me to say. You should see the amount of prayer and meditation I do before I do these. Clear the channel. Ready? Here we go. Please take a nice deep breath. Yeah, focus on your breath. Right? Fixed air. Focus on air. Focus on breath. Really come into the here and now as I call upon the collective pantheons of angels, archangels, goddesses, gods, ascended masters of life purpose through work, career, and vocation, and the higher selves of all involved, 5th dimension and above, 8th chakra and above. We're going to look at the 8th chakra dynamics, one for their work, one for their career, one for their vocation. What is the archetype in play, overshadowing everything else going on? Whether it's their archetype, reason, season, or lifetime, right? Even if it's somebody else's, there's a part of the lesson in it for them if it's in their 8th chakra. So please, let's start with their work, their physical power, their literal power, their survival intuition, right? Lower 3 chakra base, but that's the 8th chakra of that. Their career, heart, throat, 3rd eye crown, their passion, their drive, the thing that lights them up, their personal level of power, their creative intuition, heart, throat, 3rd eye crown dynamic, but what's the 8th chakra of that? And then we've got their vocation, their spiritual calling, their symbolic level of power, hovering over the head, the 8th chakra, the home of the archetypes. Their visionary intuition, really seeing things beyond the mind, right? Experiencing that mystical power they have, what's going on in their 8th chakra defined vocation. All right, well, we saw what that one was, and it's lovely, and it's very Aquarian. Oh, you already know what these are. They're in the title. Well, I cannot tell you a more Aquarian set of archetypes together. You've got the Liberator in your work, the Mediator in your career, and the Advocate in your vocation. I know a lot of Aquarians, and I know a lot of them are advocates, speaking for those who have no voices just to begin with. Each one of these, as lovely as these 3 sound, is as toxic as they are in the shadow, right? The lead is the toxic, the gold is the healthy, This is really what's going on from an 8th chakra spiritual, mystical perspective of your life purpose. Let me read you what's on here. So this is your work, right? The shadow attribute, imposing your own tyranny over those you claim to liberate. I've seen it happen big time in the work world, ignoring legitimate constraints. Now that we see left, right, and center, right? Particularly in the work world. So if this is yours, imposing your own tyranny over those that you claim to liberate. So imagine somebody who lost their job and then somebody takes them in, and then just because you lost your job and now you have no other choice but to work for me. It's not the liberator, that's the enslaver. But the light attribute, which is very Aquarian, freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs and releasing negative thought patterns, right? Very much fixed air, very much the psychological, right? Freeing oneself from outmoded beliefs. Aquarians, you are the freaks of the zodiac, ruled by Uranus. We're just going to leave that there because let's not go. I hear there are rings around Uranus. Sorry. I'll never be able to avoid that joke. It's just in my DNA, that joke. I blame it on my mother. So, you know, that there's something liberating here. Even if you're dealing with someone in the toxic, you may very well be learning how to free yourself from those. In your career, you've got the Mediator. Oh, by the way, Liberator is the action family of archetypes. Mediator is the wisdom family of archetypes. There are 9 different families. The shadow attribute of the Mediator, negotiating with an ulterior motive or hidden agenda. Thumb on the scale, right? Either personally or professionally. So you're probably weighing something out inside of you, but if you are dealing with other people, and in your career, how do we not deal with other people? The best we can. We try not to deal with other people. But to then really move this into the light attribute, gift for negotiating fairness and strategy in personal and professional life, respect for both sides of an argument. I mean, that's the balance that really you want in your career with yourself. But mediators are usually called in between 2 opposing factions. I don't know if that's the word, right? To find that balance. Very Libra card, certainly. Just watch your private agenda, your shadow agenda, like nepotism. Like even nepotism in a situation where, well, I'm friends with this one and I don't know you, so I'm just going to agree with them, right? That's what we're looking at with the shadow mediator here. In other words, a shadow anything is what you don't want to look at within yourself, or if you know about it, you don't want anybody else to know about it. Easiest definition of shadow that I know of. And you have another action family archetype here in your vocation. And I think that, honestly, if you can get a liberator, a mediator, and an advocate and alignment inside of you, you could only walk in the light aspect, so to speak. All right? But the shadow, embracing negative causes or committing to causes for personal gain. Right? You don't really care about the cause, but, you know, hey, I'm getting a paycheck. What the hell? Right? That's not a calling. That might be something you do for work to survive, but not here, right? So embracing negative causes or committing to causes for personal gain. All right. The light attribute inspires you to put compassion into action, and compassion from the 8th chakra POV as a spiritual calling is about unity. It's understanding that I bless the world because I bless myself. We're all one. Right? It's one way of looking at that. And, you know, nobody needs to know what your vocation is unless you have a YouTube channel, obviously, like I do. Because I'm a mystic, a teacher, healer, artist, and a corporate president. And I make my money through my career, but it's supplied and sustained through my vocation. But absolutely my work in the world sets the foundation. So there's a way to bring all these chakras together. Let's keep going. We've got the 8th chakra on the table for all 3. Daughters of the Moon Tarot. What's going on the next 4 down? Crown, third eye, throat, heart. The interior world, the feminine energy, the psychological world, emotional power, willpower, mental power, spiritual power. 8th chakra is mystical power, not the same thing. Breathe. Yeah, especially with the strategist, with that mediator, right? There's something about that strategist. Like, Aquarians are fixed air, so they're the stratosphere to really get up, right? To gift for negotiating fairness and strategy, to see the larger POV. Google Maps, pigs or vampires. point of view. Please take a nice deep breath. All right, as I call upon my goddesses of air and the sign of Aquarius, please, 3 cards face down for the Aquarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, Sun, watching this video, receiving this reading, in their work, career, and vocation. Let's get them on the table. What's going on inside of themselves? Heart, third eye, crown dynamic in their work with the Liberator there. In the 8th, how it's kind of trickling down, changing things in their heart, third eye, crown. What's going on in their career? They have the Mediator, that wisdom family archetype, and that does come from experience. Knowledge plus experience equals wisdom. So with particularly, I'm getting a really underlined vibe on that word strategy here. What's going on for them? Heart, third eye, crown, and certainly this would be indicative of stuff going on in the third eye. With the Advocate in their vocation, which just has such a lovely, warm energy. I'm going to say for the collective, like animal advocates and social justice advocates, and it's just very, very Aquarian that way, no matter what they do, right? Even if their work has nothing to do with any of that, they will stand up and speak for those who have no voices. Every Aquarian I know pretty much does that. So what's going on for them? Heart, third eye, crown here. That's 2 cards in their vocation. We made it through Henri, but the humidity is still here, so please leave that card in my hand for the Aquarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs in their vocation. August and September 2021, please. Sometimes they want me to say the date every single time. Let's say the timing on it. Okay, you got 2 court cards, but this is heart, third eye, crown. So this is your own stuff inside of you that may be influenced by somebody of one of these signs. But we're really looking at house dynamic here, and you got 1 major arcana card, and it is a tricky. We'll get there. So in your work, the Liberator with the Aries card. In this deck, the Maiden of Flames, Aries, this would be the King of Wands. So there's this fire element. Fire is definitely throat chakra, right? What you yearn for, what you burn for, what you choose, what you decide, right? That power of fire. Speak lightning or just the spark, right? Somewhere in between. This might very well be about you being selfish in a good way, right? Making decisions to liberate yourself, particularly if you're dealing with tyranny in your work situation, right? The stuff you do in the world. The next 3 cards that hit the table will go into the physical dynamic of this lower 3 chakras. But freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns has to begin with you. So it is a sign of beginning, right? The first sign of the zodiac, cardinal fire, creative fire. So to make real creative decisions within yourself, we'll see if and how they manifest on the outside, although it's a general read, only you're going to know that. But certainly, Aries, you could be known to be tyrants, right? You're the god of war. Aries, well, Mars in Roman, A-R-I-E-S is the zodiac sign. A-R-E-S is the Greek god of war. I reference you to Wonder Woman, the first movie with the Gal Gadot. Not the hottest depiction of him. Certainly, I think Xena and Hercules, oh, I miss him. He's a beautiful, beautiful man. Right, but that energy, this is Calafia. This is like essentially the Amazons of California before, before the indigenous peoples kind of had to go through what they went through. I mean, I don't know if I was alive and incarnate on the planet in the United States at that time, but think of that feminine energy. It's a feminist deck, right? That liberator, liberating yourself from tyranny. There is that vibe there. Yourself and maybe other people, a leader, certainly. In your vocation here, your career, you've got the Mediator with the Virgo card. Now, I am a Virgo. I can talk about it forever. Most Virgos can. But in terms of heart, third eye, crown here, this is about service. This is about healing. This is about boundaries. 6th house dynamic, occupation and health. And people immediately put occupation into what they do for a living, which you would kind of maybe put here in this first category, this first level of power. But my guides explained it to me once. They said, yeah, crackheads are occupied with crack. How's that affecting their health? I was like, probably not well. Right? So what are you occupied with, right? And how is it affecting your health? Be occupied with your own health in your career, right? And of course, service. Virgos are the servants of the zodiac, and I don't have the stats for this, but I am pretty damn sure the majority of YouTube readers are Virgos. Just seems, and it seems like there's an awful lot of channels that are just for Virgos too. Just saying. So, you know, even though the intestines are in the lower three chakras, Aries is the head, Virgo is the intestines. It sifts and sorts. It absorbs that which it needs and feeds us, and excretes that which does not. So there can even be some throat chakra dynamic going on here, in terms of you really making decisions about what you want to occupy your focus. What is the focus of your career, and is it healthy? Might be a time for sifting and sorting that, as a mediator will do, and that could involve people, right? That could mean involve all sorts of people, places, and things. Here's your tricky, and you'll see why. You've got the Advocate in your 8th chakra of vocation, but with the trickster, the coyote woman. Now, this is half of the devil card in this deck. It's a feminist deck, so they don't use patriarchal imagery all that much, as one would expect. So there is no devil. That's, you know, patriarchal. Here we look at the coyote woman, an indigenous Native American deity, essentially, a goddess form of the trickster, which, you know, there are tricksters in every pantheon. Loki, Saint Germain, I mean, Archangel Michael's not necessarily known for it, but certainly, you know, there are angels who have to trick us sometimes into learning things. Heart, third eye, crown. It can also certainly indicate shadow work, as in very few cards in this deck do we actually see a shadow cast, right? So here we see the coyote there with the shadow certainly being cast. Look at your own shadow. Heart, third eye, crown is usually where the shadow stuff goes on, right? Yes, if we push it down, it goes into the lower three, into our bodies and into our energy fields in wacky ways here. But with that thing of the Advocate, I'm going to say be really, really keeping your eye on embracing negative causes, or causing to causes for personal gain. Are you being tricked? Have you been shown all the information? Particularly if we went with the card Oppression, which is this other half of this card. With that card of Tyranny being liberated here, this feels like a very, very dicey, tricky situation where you may find yourself in the middle of a pro-con situation, and you see the toxicity of both sides and see that there is a trick here. Now, I will say this certainly speaks of the saboteur archetype. Everybody has the child, the victim, the saboteur, and the prostitute archetype, and those words are not what you think they mean necessarily. Carolyn May's Sacred Contracts, the 4 survival archetypes, everybody has those, even nations have them, right? This would definitely speak of the saboteur, and I cannot shake from my third eye. Wile E. Coyote, super genius. Do you know what I mean? Like, be careful of the spiritual ego, not as much the super ego, and make sure that you are getting the inspiration to put compassion into action, to maybe take action or speak for those who have no voices. But just be very, very careful of your shadow agenda. If there is hatred, if there is rage, if there is anger, that's fine. But then in your mediator, that's where that has to be sort of alchemized. Otherwise, that inspiration to put things into action can come from such pain. And not that we shouldn't act when we are in pain. Certainly we should move towards healing. But my sense is with that Virgo thing, you got to sift through that and sort through that. What's powering? What's the mental, emotional power behind this Advocate? Is it burn down the village and make them all suffer so that this specific, you know, is it resorting to violence? But there's definitely a leadership thing here about liberating oneself and others from tyranny. So, again, general read, this is very intense. This has a social justice feel to it, which is very Aquarian too. What does this look like on the outer? Lower 3 chakras, Mythic Tarot, you from the outside looking in at yourself. Horizontally, you from the inside looking out at some aspect of the physical. Can be both of those things, but it is involving the lower 3 chakras. Root chakra, tribal power. Second chakra, one-on-one power. Relational power, money, sex, creativity, all that. Solar plexus, honor code, personal power, survival, intuition, self-esteem, all of that. Let's see. Please take a nice deep breath. Nice deep breath. As I call upon my gods of air and the sign of Aquarius, please, 3 cards in clarity for the Aquarian collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading. What's going on in the lower 3 chakra dynamic of their work, career, vocation, August and September 2021, please? I've got the Liberator in the 8th. Calafia, Maiden of Flames, King of Wands on the inner. Definitely an initiatory energy, a leadership energy. What's going on in the lower 3 chakras there in their career? The Mediator in the 8th with the Virgo, Heart, Third Eye, Crown. Definitely a weighing and an analyzing. Yeah. Third Eye, dynamic Virgo. We are the analyzers of the zodiac. So what's going on there in the lower 3 chakras in their career? Little clue, tip, hint there for them. And I feel like their leverage is in their career here, not their work or their vocation, because that's a tricky vocation. The Advocate, where there may be some wool being pulled over some third eyes there. Some information may not be accurate. Committing to a cause for personal gain, or just not, or being tricked into it or something. What's going on there, lower 3 chakras in their vocation? August, September 2021. 1, 2, 3. Oh, all right. 1 major arcana card and 2 court cards. The reverse order of what you have on the inner. Here, the Liberator in the 8th in your work, right? Get that. Freeing yourself from outmoded beliefs. I think that's really, really key in this. Well, otherwise you're looking through a glass darkly. I know, the witch just gave you New Testament, try and cope. Right, so to clear the lenses of perception here by freeing yourself of that first, but with temperance, with patience, with gentleness, with compassion, with alchemy. Now, I say this every time the temperance card comes up, no matter what deck I'm using that obviously has the temperance card in it. Watch videos on tempering metal or metal renovations, restorations on YouTube. When you see what they do to these rusted out pieces of metal to, well, rehabilitate them, bring them back to their original form. They sand it, they boil it, they put it in like salt water with electrodes on it. It is so intense to watch, and it is so symbolic of the spiritual awakening process, right? But it does take time. It does take patience. It is alchemy itself, freeing yourself and others from these things. It's not such an overnight process as an Aries vibe might like it to be. But I know one thing for sure. Alchemy takes 3 ingredients: time, heat, and pressure. Work in your work. Here's where we get into court cards. These might be people in the outside, or you from the outside looking in. The Mediator in your career, with the Virgo on the inner, and Queen of Cups, the Scorpio card on the outer. So yeah, you're dealing with like either a Scorpio on the outside, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, or the 8th house dynamic, money, sex, power, other people's resources, which is necessary in a career, right? It's like, I get paid for my readings. I give you all of the prayer, the meditation, making myself look good in person, on Zoom, whatever, in exchange for that money, which I then give to different companies like everybody else on planet Earth. That is my career, but it is my passion. If this is you from the outside looking in, Scorpio, you're sort of, not that you're cold, you're caring, your heart is in this, but you're not letting on. You're paying attention to your intuition, and you're feeling this out, sorting this out. Now, I have an older brother who's a Scorpio. Very hard to tell what's going on with him because he doesn't say much until he does, right? And he's got a dirtier, filthier sense of humor than I do by a mile. I wish I had his truly disgusting sense of humor, but then again, he's not on YouTube. I am. So I gotta cope with that. Ooh, get a glass of a nice, dry Chardonnay, and man, we're off to the races. So, mum's the word here. Feels like, particularly if you kind of get that in terms of your life calling, your vocation, what you came to do here, there's something tricky going on here. That could be in your intuitive field, which is why you're sorting and sifting in your career, right? And not necessarily letting on with that Mediator. It's like, I don't know how fair this is, all of this. And with the Knight of Swords, the Gemini card, the Dioscuri, there is probably a lot of contradictory information going on. Now, you might be dealing with an actual Gemini, but the Gemini card are the pros and cons of everything, even down to the soul and the ego, love and fear, right? The very twins that might be affecting or giving you information here that may be tricky, may be false, may be shadow-laden, but is certainly giving you the opportunity to gather the information that you need to go from embracing negative causes or committing to causes for personal gain into inspiring you to put compassion into action. And look, I think we all know right now that the information that's flying around on the planet ain't all of it true. There's a difference between true and truth. What's true is it is 90 degrees outside today, or at least it was last time I checked my cell phone. The truth is we are all one eternal being. We are one eternal light appearing as all, and this world is a playground, schoolroom, gym, essentially, for the soul's evolution, right? So putting compassion into action is an expression of the soul. But with that sabotorial trickster archetype there, that might be really what you're freeing yourself from. Just be very, very careful of communications, third house communication, self-expression, Gemini energy, in terms of what you say. And in terms of, I mean, you can listen to all of it, but I think that's why, you know, as this occupies your heart, third eye crown dynamic, you're going to be finding a gift for negotiating fairness, etc., and balancing this somehow. Last three cards down. The Matt Kahn Healing Mantra deck. Not reading from the bookie book on these. It's 3 cards. But I will say, my clients get a lot of mileage out of these, it seems. So write down, if you can, the names of the mantras, which are on one side of the card, and then the mantras themselves on the other side, and play around with them. Like, write them on Post-its, right? You only need 3, and kind of move them around. And you get little paragraphs of power. Highly recommend it, and I do it for myself. That's why I post them on my channel, right? What is that called? The posts. That's why I post those there, so people can just kind of go through and have at least the names of the mantras. All right, here we go. Please take a nice deep breath. As I call upon the Ascended Masters of Life, Purpose, Work, Career, and Vocation for the Aquarian Collective, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs watching this video, receiving this reading. What are the perfect healing mantras here to help them bring these 8 chakras into alignment, bring these 3 levels of power into homeostasis, their work, career, vocation, gently into congruence so that it becomes one movement of energy from heaven to earth and then earth up to heaven. The process of creation and healing for my beloved fixed air signs. Here we go. This August and September 2021 in their work, they've got the Liberator, Maiden of Flames, Aries on the inner, that would be King of Wands, so definitely taking the initiative and most likely liberating themselves. But with that Temperance, I have a friend who this is applying to. Wow, okay. Taking their time, not letting on as they're developing their career, kind of feeling things out, what's fair, right, in their career. The Mediator in the 8th, the Virgo on the inner, and the Queen of Cups on the outer, just head down, doing the job, but very much feeling things out here in their career, perhaps getting ready to bust a move on their own away from a toxic work situation. Because in their vocation, they are an advocate. They want to put compassion into action. They want to serve people, particularly with that Virgo card in their career. But there's something tricky. There's a lesson here that they may not see, a self-sabotage going on. In terms of that, maybe they're speaking up for everybody else and putting compassion into action, but no one's doing that for them, hence the Mediator, them needing to do that for themselves. And with that Gemini energy, it just feels a little tricky sticky, that all the facts might not be actual facts going on there. So what are their... Is that the garbage truck? I will pause this camera. I think the garbage truck is here, because that's why they're stretching out the Yeah, oh, alright, I'll be right back. Okay, it wasn't the garbage truck. It was the delivery truck, but they sound an awful lot alike. Ready? Here we go. Alright, Ascended Masters, you had me stretch out that prayer so that they wouldn't have to sit through that cacophony outside. What is their perfect healing mantra for their work? Liberator, Aries, Temperance. There we go. For their career, the Mentor in the 8th, Virgo on the inner, Scorpio on the outer. Very interesting combo there. And for their vocation, the Advocate with the Trickster on the inner. And the Gemini card, Knight of Swords on the outer. Rapid communication too on that. Okay. Wonderful, wonderful mantras. Okay, so you've got inspiring others, liberating love, and uncovering confidence. And if you reverse that, I think that's what's going to bring this down into form. Uncovering confidence, liberating love, and inspiring others. This totally makes sense. Let me read you what these are. So like we said, in your work, 8th chakra, that liberator, right? But you're going to lead by example. You're going to be liberating yourself from outmoded beliefs and ideas, and it's going to take time, and you can be gentle about it. You don't have to be a ram in a china shop. As you inspire others, I help others feel empowered by acknowledging their gifts. So even if you are in a toxic work situation, start liberating people by giving them some praise. You know, you're really good at that. You are worth so much more than what you are being paid, right? Or whatever the situation is, right? Be that light. Be that cardinal fire. Create in other people, right? And with Temperance, it's always moving you towards healing and balance within yourself. But certainly from the outside looking in, you might be... See, tempered steel becomes unbreakable. It is a card of strength. Even though we've got Iris, the goddess of the rainbow here, don't kid yourself. There is immense energy in inspiring people in the physical world. So I help others feel empowered by acknowledging their gifts. That was really good. Now, there's a certain level of that we have to give to ourselves, that we can only give to ourselves. But as you give that to yourself, it does begin to overflow. So just remember, if there is a tyrannical situation that you're in and you're not the tyrant here, then certainly being a blessing in that situation lines up with everything else you got going on here, because you've got the Mediator in your career, the Virgo, so this deep desire to serve, occupation, and health, right? Really finding that out for yourself. But in terms of your career, right, a lot of people work jobs in order to fuel their career that they may not get paid for. But you are being a little mum's the word about this, right? Like maybe even if you're out there with clients, right? Like you're just blessing all the clients. Oh, you're so great. You know, like if you're in service that way, the people that cross your path, really, really doing a lovely job there. But in your own career, I feel like you're really with that Scorpio card, unless you're dealing with someone who is very much not letting on what's going on here. There's a lot of emotion on this card vibration. I'm feeling this is you from the outside looking in. That you do have a plan. You do have fixed water, Scorpio, deep intuition, deep feelings about this, that you're trying to find a fair strategy through this. And here's your mantra, liberating love. I allow myself to receive all the fulfillment I'm willing to give. I can't tell you with the Virgo card how important that is. This is occupation and healing, right? Making sure that you are in balance. It's I-N, not I-M. In balance here, really being fair. Maybe, yeah, listening to both sides of the argument, but really, really tuning in that the work that's being done here is within yourself. To give yourself the time, the space, the rest, and the breath to feel what you have to feel on this, right? Because liberating love is that. When there are parts of us that do not feel loving, that aren't having the best day, to take even 5 minutes, and we all know this, right? To just sit there and be like, it's okay to feel this way. We're exhausted. And if you're an empath, good gods, who else are you feeling in your work situation here, right? So if you are willing to liberate your others as well as yourself, then why not give yourself that freedom, that liberation to do what's really healthy for you, bringing you into a mental, emotional balance here and liberating the love. If your heart does not feel safe, it's not going to open, right? But anything in this world can trigger that sense of unsafety, right? Shadow work in particular, we'll get there in a minute. But certainly with that Scorpio card, there are emotions here that are deep within, if I'm really reading this right. So to liberate love means to do whatever you need to do, to be the first responder of your own heart and be like, it's okay, sweetheart. Well, when we get home, nice hot bath, or, you know, whatever it is, I love you. And if we got to cry, we got to cry. If we got to scream, which kind of feels more like an anger rage thing there with that Aries card, then we'll do that in a healing way, because I really have to be fair in how I move forward with this. And then, of course, with uncovering confidence in your last one here, right, the Advocate in the 8th, right, really putting compassion into action, but understanding, at least now as of this reading, that I may not be seeing this so clearly, which is why I need to go in and do that work inside of myself, right? Because of information, communication. This could be gossip. This could be news that is inaccurate. I'm just going to leave that there. So uncovering confidence, I am the missing piece that completes the puzzle of the universe. You are essential. You don't show up, you're the piece of the puzzle that people turn over the couch, right? Emptying out the vacuum, right? Going through every garbage can to find that one missing piece. Your confidence is in knowing that you are in this situation for a purpose, not a reason. I know you're an air sign. You want reasons. Reasons are human creations, mostly superstition, honestly, from the divine's point of view. But purpose we see often in hindsight, or if we can get up into that 8th chakra, see the larger GPS point of view. So try and transcend a lot of what you're seeing, a lot of what you're feeling. Obviously with the Mediator, with that Virgo thing, you are filtering here, and allow yourself to receive all the fulfillment you're willing to give others. I'm willing to give others time and space to figure their stuff out. I'm going to do that for myself. I am going to go deeper in and higher up into my spirit, my soul, my 8th chakra dynamic, so that I can put compassion into action. Let me put it together for you in the blessing. Please take a nice deep breath. This might take 2 nice deep breaths. Might as well. As I call upon the collective pantheons of the divine to please bless the Libra collective Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus signs in their work, career, vocation, August and September 2021, that in their work they may free themselves and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns within themselves, as that Maiden of Flames, Aries, Calafia, King of Wands, really working with their own personality, the ego, the self, to lead themselves and others by example, with that Temperance on the outside, really finding the balance of that, doing the alchemy, doing the healing, being patient and inspiring others, helping others feel empowered by acknowledging their gifts, so that in their career they can acknowledging their gifts, that they can acknowledge their own gifts for negotiating fairness and strategy in personal and professional life, with a respect for both sides of an argument. And as that Virgo on the inside, sifting, sorting, serving, Queen of Cups, silent contemplation, feeling intuitively, and liberating love, allowing themselves to receive all the fulfillment they're willing to give, particularly to give to themselves, so that in their vocation they can be inspired to put compassion into action, including compassion for themselves. So it may be tricky, though there may be shadows and fears, inspired by external communications, true or false, gossip or gospel. That was a good one. So that they can really see their part in the divine plan, uncovering their confidence, which is in there, it's just covered, uncovering their confidence, that they are the missing piece that completes the puzzle of the universe. So may they help others feel empowered by acknowledging their gifts, allowing themselves to receive all the fulfillment they are willing to give, that they know that they are the missing piece that completes the puzzle of the universe, so they may heal, grow, learn, serve, fulfill their life purpose through work, career, vocation, and as a result, bless all of life on planet Earth and beyond for the well-being of all. So mote it be. And so it is. Long ass blessing, but I think very, very well worth it. Why wouldn't it be a long ass blessing? You're ruled by Uranus. Can't resist that joke someday. Maybe I just need someone to like zap me with like one of those. Wouldn't work. Wouldn't work. My nervous system would blow the damn thing off. So thank you so much for watching. If you want a private read, go watch the video. You want to read my book, just go preview it on, just go read it. The dedication's to my mom. I loved writing that book, and it came at a point where there was a lot of sneaky going on in my career, and everything changed. And it wasn't easy, but it was simple. Seek only truth. Love is divine power. And by all means, do your best, do your best, do your best. Otherwise, seriously, wishing you all the very best and the very blessed in your work, career, vocation, my beloved aqua lungs, my aquariums. Hail, farewell, and blessed be.